Hi Scorpio, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with me. My name's Carol, and this is going to be a general reading for the month of August 2024. And Scorpio, I think the only thing that I need to announce to you is that my personal readings will be coming out soon. The offer to get a personal reading. And I'm going to put out a video. I've mentioned it already in some of my past videos. I know it's a matter of timing. So I'm still getting a few things together until I put it out. So stay tuned for a video that's coming out soon to announce that. And in today's reading, we're going to be doing mirror work. So what is mirror work? Well, let me just tell you that mirror work is probably one of the best things that you can use to start to heal yourself, to start to find out what is coming up from your shadow to heal. And if you're new to shadow work, I'm going to leave a video for you. I'm going to link it right at the end of this video. And it's a video that I've done for my other channel called Carol Cares. And it's a video on shadow work. And it's also linked in the description box as well. So, yeah, it's going to tell you all about how to do shadow work. And shadow work is just basically healing what's coming up from your unconscious. So mirror work is about the whole concept about the universe is trying to reflect something to you that is connected to your inner world, to the unconscious. Now, I know that's a bit heavy, but I want you to understand it as when we start watching our outer world, like people that are in our life, like what's happening in our world to us, or even what's happening in the world itself, what's going on with our pets, what's going on in our own systems, health-wise maybe, or children. Children have an incredible way of triggering us. They always will be a mirror for us that are reflecting something back to us that we need to see, especially when, we sit here and go, they're driving me crazy, they're pissing me off, they're making me angry. That is mirror work. That is what the universe is reflecting back to you. That's related to a pattern or a belief system or a struggle or whatever it is that needs to heal. Now, let me give you an example. I am a retired teacher, and so I think it's really important to give you an example, a concrete example of mirror work. So I saw mirror work yesterday in action, and to me, I said to myself, I was trying to figure out why this was happening to me, because that's what mirror work is. And I knew it was because it was the story that I needed to tell you, the example. So yesterday I brought my car in for the umpteenth time to get fixed, and I now know that it's time to get rid of my car, by the way. It's just given me a lot of clues and things, memories that I'm done with part of this of my life, so it's time to get rid of this car. I know. But I was in the garage yesterday waiting in the waiting room with this woman, and there were just the two of us, and she had just finished talking to the technician. And you could tell that she was very much someone that was full of fear, full of anxiety, just the way she was walking around and talking about how she needed a cigarette. And I could just feel her anxious energy. And she started to talk to me, and she told me about her car and what it was doing. And her car, when it came to slow down and came to a stop or a light, she said she could see the whole dashboard, lights start to dimmer, and there was shaking going on, and her car would stall at the stop sign or at the lights. And this was happening all the way to her drive to bringing her car in, and it was happening all the time. And she told me there was even one incident last week where she had a police officer stop her because she was stalled in the middle of traffic, and he followed her where she was going. He followed her home. Now, this isn't, the woman's probably close to my age. I don't know. I have a hard time with the age. But she told me she was living with her parents. And I'm thinking in my head, like, why would you drive this vehicle knowing that It's going to stall all the way here. And the fear and the anxiety in her system over this car doing this to her was incredible. Now, she could have called, had a tow truck bring it in. She could have asked people she was living with to, give her a ride. But here's the thing about what's going on in this woman's outer world that she didn't realize that I knew it was going on because I've lived what she's going through. She's living a flashback, and the panic in her system. So she still thinks she's back in this flashback, and she doesn't realize that she can get out of this as an adult, but she still thinks she's back where she was a child and something was happening to her over and over and over again that was bringing up all this fear and all this anxiety, and she couldn't get out of it as a child, but she can as an adult. And so even just having that police officer saving her, and to me it just sounded like this was something from her childhood that was coming up for her to heal. And if you don't think that your car can be a mirror for you, oh my God. My car has been an incredible mirror for me to, bring back a lot of my own flashbacks of when I was trapped as a child and I couldn't get out of my situation. And so this is what, it's very critical on this journey to start to become aware of what's going on in your outer world, your conscious world, and use it as a mirror to reflect what's happening or coming up for healing in your inner world from your unconscious. It's a fascinating concept that the universe has for us. It's beautiful. But this is the way we can start using our triggers, these people around us, our relationships, what situation you're sitting in with your own relationship. How is this a flashback? How is this bringing up patterns from your childhood? And so we're going to start right now and get into this reading because I could chat forever about mirror work. It's fascinating. So in today's reading, I'm going to be using the Rider-Waite Tarot deck, and that's going to give me my 8 cards that I'm going to be looking for to start off with. And then for your outer world, I'm going to be using the Tarot Grand Luxe deck, and I'm going to also use that for the message from the universe that's going to come in regarding your outer and your inner world once I read those for you. And your inner world, I'm going to be using the Tarot of the Abyss, and also I'm going to use that for healing. So I'm going to be using those 2 decks for clarification. And so I'm going to start off with the Rider-Waite deck right now, and I'm going to put you on speed shuffling. Okay, Scorpio, here's your reading. So to begin your reading, I have a overriding energy for you, and it's taken from the reading that I did for you, the yearly reading in January 2024. And I pulled from that reading your monthly card from August. And that is the Fool card. So I'm going to use this as the overriding energy here. And the Fool doesn't come up often in my readings, but when it does, it's a card that you really need to pay attention to. It can come anywhere. Like the Fool is known for that. It's number 0 in the major arcana, but it really is meant to be a card that comes anywhere because it's about taking that leap of faith, taking that jump. And so there's something here where you have this overriding energy where you're wanting to take this jump, this leap of faith, this next move that you want to do. You're ready. You're just right there on the edge of that cliff, and it's almost like the universe wants to just push you. So we're going to see what's going on with that as far as how that relates to your reading today. So let's begin with the outer world, your conscious world. It's what you're aware of. It's everything that's going on in your life right now. And so I'm seeing here that you're looking at, you're starting off your outer world with the 7 of Cups card comes in. This person's, looking at this, all these cups, these distractions, and so I'm seeing here that you're quite distracted right now. You're keeping yourself distracted, and we often do that. having a lot going on, and there's just like, and a lot of times I see that sometimes it can be us really like keeping ourselves busy up in our head, just keeping us distracted is what I'm hearing. And right after that comes this little page of swords. And we can't ignore our pages when they show up, because our pages, my pages in my deck, there's 4 of them, are our inner children. And we have more than one inner child. I know that mainstream psychology likes to say, well, we just have one, but we actually have more than one inner child in us. And this one is the Page of Swords. This one has everything to do with that younger child of yours, 4, 5, 6 years old, that knew who they were. Because the sword is the sword of authenticity, and it cuts through all the bullshit. It knows who you are. So I'm seeing here that this distraction is really keeping you away from who you are, and it's keeping you away from that inner child that knows who you are, right? So it could be an inner child right here that's trying to sort of get your attention, like, listen to me, I know who I am, because you're distracted. You're not really paying attention to this, right? So yeah, and then right after that comes the Empress. And the Empress is in reverse, and the Empress is number 3 in the Major Arcana, and she is a beautiful card, just a beautiful card that births fertility. But the thing about the Empress is that she is someone that absolutely lives in her body. She is in love with the body. She feels all her emotions. So every single decision she makes, she gets in touch with her intuition, her inner guidance. It very much lives from the body. And I just, finished saying that you're very much distracted and up in your head right now. And so the Empress is in reverse here, because you're not in your body whatsoever. And so this could tell me that you may be living in some sort of a dissociative state, actually, where you're not even aware of this inner child that's trying to speak to you. And there's a call here for you to get grounded, to get back in your body with like this Empress, this feminine aspect to us, where we become very grounded and get in our body, so we can get connected to who we are. The Strength card comes out next, and the Strength card is another Major Arcana card. It comes out to remind you that you have this strength. You have this strength to do this inner work that you need to do, that you're being called right now to do. Because with the Empress card coming out, it really is kind of a calling to get back in your body. Let's get grounded, get back into your body and out of your head. And the Strength card says, you have the strength to do this. You can do this. And I know sometimes we get distracted as a way of avoiding the healing that we need to do. The 5 of Coins comes here. And the 5 of Pentacles, the 5 of Coins, is really telling me a little bit about what is going on here and why you're distracting and what it is underneath all of that you're trying to avoid. Well, the 5 of Pentacles is that card of, to me, it's the unworthiness card. And in the Rider-Waite deck, it's the card where they're walking by that church and they're cladly dressed. They're not dressed for the weather, and they're afraid to even go into that church and ask for some help. And so maybe you are needing some help here, but you're feeling unworthy. You're feeling really unworthy. And so maybe you're needing some help, and instead you're distracting yourself because you got some unworthiness there. So there's some shame. It's a shame card. It's unworthiness, not feeling like you can do this. But the Tower card comes in reverse here. And what I really found fascinating about this reading is that you got the Tower card in reverse here for your outer world in the second row. And look at the card that came out as the last card in the second row here for your inner world, the Tower card in reverse. And so that is always fascinating to me when I get that mirroring when in the cards. So what's the Tower card in reverse mean? Well, in an upright position, the Tower card talks about a major baseball bat from the universe, a major upheaval in our life where it transforms everything in our life. It's kind of like, It's kind of like the universe has been giving us, dropping these little red flags all along, and we didn't listen. So it's like, okay, the universe kind of says, okay, you need to go this way, and you're not listening. And we're talking about going this way. We're talking about this leap of faith over here that we talked about. And to me, it sounds like it's a leap of faith going inwards, doing that inner journey. But the Tower card is in reverse here. And so, there's almost like... This is getting to a point, your distraction and not wanting to deal with your unworthiness that's coming up here, and getting back to who you really are, your authenticity. Then the Tower card comes out, but not in full force. So it's almost, to me, like when it's in reverse, it's like, I'm going to warn you. This is like the kind of the one last warning from the universe that says, you got to deal with this. It is taking over your life. And, you got to deal with this. It's like the final last little baseball bat from the universe before the final one comes in and says, okay, you're not listening to the universe, God, creator, source, whatever you want to call it. We're going to give you a Tower moment in reverse. And then the Emperor card comes in. And Mr. Emperor is what I call him. He's number 4, Mr. Stable, solid, cemented to his chair. He's the ruler. He's kind of like a father figure. And he's the one that sets the rules of society, the norms of society. This is what we're supposed to do and not supposed to do. And so I'm seeing here that you are pretty much following the rules of society. So there's something here that you are... I don't know. Maybe it's not, what does society say, kind of, some of us might say, don't touch those emotions. Some of them, and often it is a sign of there's something here that maybe, it's going to come up in your shadow. It's going to come up in this inner world part of yours, but maybe you've been taught when you were younger not to go there, not to touch those emotions. And this is in reverse here because there is very much, I don't think you're aware of it. I don't think you're aware of what you were taught as a child about your emotions, and so you follow those rules, you follow what you've been taught. And maybe you need to start to look at, what is it I've been taught? Why don't I want to take this leap of faith? Why don't I want to go inwards? What is it that is preventing me from getting back into my body here, the Empress, and starting to feel some of this? The Two of Wands comes out, and the Two of Wands talks about wands are our creative energy that's going to take us to our purpose, what we're meant to do. And so there's like a little nudge here. There's a little nudge here that maybe you're feeling. I mean, it's hard to feel when you're this distracted, and that's why it's just a 2, right? So it's like there's a little direction here. There's a new direction for you. And this Fool, this leap of faith over here tells me that there's this new direction that you need to go into. And this is what the Tower moment is saying here. It's time. And finally, the Wheel comes in as the last card here. And I'm going to show you something else in your inner world, in the exact, right beside it, not the same spot, but it's in the same row and it's right behind it. The Wheel of Fortune. Now, what is the Wheel of Fortune? Well, the Wheel of Fortune, we all know that the wheel of life turns and circumstances happen, circumstances changing. So there's something here that is changing for you, that wants to change. There's change that's coming in for you, that the universe is saying it's time for you to change your current circumstances, right? I think you've been really distracting yourself too much right now, and it's time, and that's what this Fool is talking to us. So let's look at your inner world. So this is what's going on with you right now. And what is, let's look at all of what I just said. Why it sounds to me like there's some kind of a fear of taking that leap of faith, of going inwards and facing your unworthiness. So where does that come from? What's going on here? What's it reflecting? What is it mirroring in your inner world? And so in your inner world, you start off with the devil. Interesting card. Is a devil in reverse. Interesting card to start off with. Well, because it's in your inner world, this is a time of, when you were younger or when you're an adolescent, because this is where all of this was formed, right? So, and normally the devil talks about attachments. It can refer to our addictions. And so because it talks about attachments, that's the word I'm hearing right now, and it's in reverse here. So there was a time, a period in your life where for some reason you weren't able to form attachments. There was something. So we're going to look at that, but that is what the card is starting off with in your inner world, about forming these attachments. And right behind it was the Knight of Swords, and the Knight of Swords is an adolescent part of us. The Knights are my freedom fighters. They're like that adolescent part that wants to be free to be themselves. They're going to do that by free to be authentic in everything they do. They're real. And you have the Knight of Swords here, and the sword is all about authenticity, cutting through the bullshit, getting to find out who you really are. And so I'm seeing here that because you weren't able to form these attachments, you also weren't free. You didn't have the freedom to find out, to explore who you really were or who you really are, right? Because I think when we're lacking something like that, of not having that security to hang on to somebody, to be able to, because we need that security when we're younger. So, before we can kind of go out on our own. But because you didn't have that base of that forming that attachment, you didn't have that freedom either to explore who you are. And then you have the Seven of Cups. Look at this person right here living up in the clouds. And the Seven of Cups comes in again, same line. You started off with the Seven of Cups right here. And again, here it is here. Now over here, I told you it was about distraction. Well, I often, because this is in your inner world, I often call this card a card of dissociation, where you end up going, because there's a lot of pain with not being able to form attachments and not being able to have the freedom to find out who you are when you were younger. And so what we do is we go up in our head and we dissociate. We live from our head, because that is the easiest place to live. We can't live in our body, because in our body is where our emotions are. And that requires, when you're younger, big emotions to feel, and it's really hard to feel. And so if you have something where, like I said, where you didn't have this difficulty forming attachments, there's a lot of pain associated with that, a lot of grief. And so you'll go up in your head and you'll live in your head when you're younger. That's what we do. And the Seven of Swords comes in here. And so once you're living in that head, you also live by all these swords in the Seven of Swords. These are I call this the thief card. It's often called the thief card. This is the individual that runs away with all these mental swords. Well, mental swords are belief systems. They're belief systems that people told you about yourself. You didn't get a chance. You didn't get a chance to decide who you were on your own. And so you learned who you were by what other people told you. And you held on to those seven swords. You're a child. You had an adolescent. And that's how you learned who you were. Who you were is what you learned here. Now, the next card that comes out is the Nine of Wands. Well, this tells me that this individual's been through a lot, with the bandage on his head. So I'm seeing here that you came from a difficult childhood. Some you may know some things that happened to you, but sometimes when we dig a little bit further, we find out there's more. You may know that you came from a different childhood. You have the Six of Swords here, and the Six of Swords is my card of getting to a safe place of safety. Safety. I don't think you were safe as a child. I don't think you felt safe because of this difficult childhood you had. And the Tower moment, this is where the Tower moment comes in. I mean, it was, I'm going to say there was something that was life-changing. I think this, not particularly a moment, though it could be a particular specific incident, but I think this whole row here explains to me what your childhood is like. Very unsafe, very unprotected. And what would have been, for a lot of any child, would have been a real life-changing transformation for you. And when I say it's not upright, I think if it were upright, I would have said that it would have been a specific incident that happened to you. But because it's in reverse, I want to say your whole childhood was very transforming for you. It made you who you were. In the last row where you have this Wheel of Fortune, and the Wheel of Fortune is talks about the change of circumstance, right? So very transforming, very changing the circumstances of your life. And here's the World card here. The World card, look at this World card. This one is so interesting. You know, I'm seeing that, you know, almost from, you know, birth here. Almost from birth. It looks like you've had this transformation that has happened to you. It's kind of like this is what, you know, it kind of explains to me it was your whole childhood, that this whole thing of, you know, not being able to be yourself and finding out who you really are. And I'm going to say that you had a lot of emotions, a lot of big, big emotions here. This is the Empress card again, and she represents everything about living from your body and feeling all your emotions. And so I'm saying that this change, you weren't allowed to feel your emotions. And over here we talked about how there's this big fear of you to go inwards and feel your emotions. Well, there's a lot here. And I think as a child, you buried all of this. You buried it because of this Devil card not being able to make those attachments, to hang on to somebody to help you. You know, no safety here. And so now when it comes time to go inwards, because you know you need to get back into your body. You know you need to feel this unworthiness. And now when it's time, it's bringing up this whole childhood of yours. And to be frank, this can be very, very overwhelming for you because there's a lot here to unpack. And it's kind of like, you know, where do I start? So this is what I'm here for today. We're going to look at what's the message here from the universe, and then we're going to look at how you can start. How can you start to heal this? And the tarot will give us some help for you. So the first thing that comes here is, what's the main message from all of this that I just talked about from the universe? We have this Page of Pentacles. And again, the page is, you have a few pages of it on. You have another one coming up here. You had one here, over here for your outer world. So very much your inner child that we talked about in your inner world that needs healing. And I think I've established that. Your Page of Pentacles talks about your body. It's the pentacle. Your pentacle is your body. Talks about your unworthiness as a child. Talks about getting back into your body, because kids are very much your inner child. It was very much someone that was in their body until things happen to them, until trauma comes in the picture, right? And so, you know, the universe really wants you to focus on the body, wants you to focus on getting back into your body, and to find those inner children that need healing. And the universe again wants you, here comes the Strength card again twice, and, you know, wants you to focus on, the message is, let's start focusing on this Strength card, that, you know, you're feeling like you don't have the strength. So we're going to turn this around, and it's just another reminder that, you know, it's time to go inwards. It's time to get back in your body. You can do this. You are an adult now. You couldn't do this when you were younger. You didn't have the support you needed. You weren't in a safe place. And so you were just trying to survive. But now you're an adult. You have your adult self. You have the strength. And here's the Six of Coins. Here's the Six of Pentacles. And the Six of Pentacles speaks of this. It's the card of, it's in reverse here. So it's the card of, did we talk about the Six of Pentacles? Yeah, we didn't. No. So it's a card of balancing out your worth. You know, it's number 6. So it's this whole idea of this duality of giving and receiving, right? So you are going to get what you think you're worth. You're going to be given what you think you're worth. So it's a card of unworthiness, and it's in reverse here. And so here's the message here. Again, I don't make this up. The universe is telling you, you have the strength to go inwards, to deal with this unworthiness, to process this unworthiness. This unworthiness, this poor inner child that was lost when they were younger, just wanted to survive, feeling like they didn't matter, feeling very unworthy. And so Fool card's out there still. Fool card says, you know, you can do this. It's time to take this step. How are you going to start to heal this now? Well, here's the here's the safety card coming out. Interesting how you have a lot of repeating cards here. You had the Six of Swords right here when your childhood, and now it's coming out again. And the universe is saying, you know, in an upright position, this says, you know, it's time to get yourself into a safe place. And it's in reverse here. So I'm wondering here if you're sitting in an unsafe place. I don't know. It's a general reading, but this is what I'm going to say to you about healing, being on the healing journey and being in an unsafe place. If you are in an unsafe place with living with people, being with people, there are people around you maybe that are making you, are re-traumatizing you. You need to be in a very safe place before you feel safe enough to take that journey inwards to start to heal, right? So the universe is pointing that out, that you need to be in a very safe place, because I don't know if you are right now with this being in reverse. And maybe there's a hesitancy or resistance on your part to getting yourself safe, first of all. And sometimes that means walking away from people. The Page of Cups comes in here, and here's another inner child. This time it's going to be our Page of Cups. And the Page of Cups is probably one of the most important parts of us, our most important inner child that needs our compassion. And it is the card that I call the Love Seeker. And our Love Seeker is constantly searching for that one person, that one savior that's going to bring us the love that we didn't get when we were younger. And sometimes we continue to invite unsafe people into our space because we repeat patterns from our childhood. And so our Love Seeker will continue to, it's almost like attract these people into our life. And we don't know why, but it's trying to find the love. Find the love that's going to save us. But the only person that can save us is ourselves. And the Devil card comes in here. Here's the Devil card. Like I said, there's a lot of cards that are repeating in your reading. Here's the Devil card in reverse again. So you need to start healing this attachment issue, this part of you that wasn't able to become attached, that didn't get help. And so sometimes what happens is we will attach ourselves as an adult to very unsafe people because we're going to repeat the exact same pattern that we had when we were younger. Our Love Seeker will repeat this over and over and over and over again in order to get that love that they didn't get when they were younger. And they'll keep trying, and they'll keep trying until we start to heal this Love Seeker. And so I think for you, it's really time to start to get back into your body. We're going to start off with that. And I'm going to give you a playlist on how to ground your body so you can get out of your head where you're feeling so much unworthiness and so much pain, and back into your body where you can start to feel. You can start to feel what your love seeker needs to heal. And that's going to be a lot of grief. You need to grieve. You need to grieve this younger part of you right here. You need to grieve what your younger part needed to do. And that's going to be a lot of grieving. You need to get to that grief, and you're going to get to it by getting back into your body. And so, Scorpio, this was a fascinating reading for you. Let me know below if this resonated for you. I'm going to leave you with, I think it's a playlist on grieving, 1 or 2 videos on grieving. And I'm also going to leave you with how to do some shadow work, how to do some inner work, more inner work, so you can heal this very younger, this younger children of yours that need your help now. So take care, and I'll talk to you in 2 weeks. Bye.